The as-is clause in the 1-4 Texas contract is so confusing. It is probably the most asked about area that all of my buyers and sellers, every one of them ask about. And the reason is because we have a vision and an idea of what as-is means. In our brains, we think it means that's the done deal. Whatever we're putting out there, it's as-is. You purchase it, you sell it. It's what it is. That's what's going to be sold. But that's not how the contract views it. The contract is telling you that you can still have an inspection. You can still go back to negotiation, even though you check that 7D box that says you're taking the property as is. And why is that? It's because in the contract, it's redefining that idea of as is, because they know that maybe the seller may be ignorant to any problems that are actually going on in the home. And they're trying to account for that. So for example, let's say you go to purchase a home and the seller says, I don't think there's anything actually wrong with this home, or I had a tenant in the home and I didn't live in the home, so I really don't know what's going on in the home. And so they're saying, I really can't give you much information. Here's the seller's disclosure, but I really don't have the history for it. Now that gives you the ability to go now and get the inspector, get anybody else you want in there, maybe a plumber, anybody you'd like to go in and look at the home and give it a once over so that you have an idea of what may be going on in the home. And in those cases, what the as-is clause is saying is it's as the property is being presented to you. So that is the way that as-is clause is there. So it's the present condition known to the seller. So look at it like that. It gets very confusing because I've had sellers say, well, they check that box as is, and so therefore they should take it as is. No, they're allowed to do inspections. They're allowed to go back and negotiate. The buyer says, I checked the box as is. Oh my God, I'll never be able to argue it. No, you're allowed to argue it. Get your inspection, go back to negotiation. But you better do an option period, because that's going to give you the option to go back and leave the contract and just walk away from the deal if the seller is unwilling to work with you. So we'll talk about option periods later.